Tony Siracusa joining us from Last Word on College Football to talk UCLA. And it's since I've extended this conversation across town to USC, let me broaden it all the way out to the Pac-12. I have not watched much college basketball for the last 10 or 12 years, but by osmosis, based on where I work, I soak up a lot of vibes and talk and information and rankings and so forth. The Pac-12 has been in the past one of the great basketball conferences in the nation, of course. And it's not been a down year. It's been a down handful of years for the Pac-12. And we're looking at, I believe, one or two teams from the Pac-12 making the NCAA tournament. And this has been the case with just two or three teams making it the past few years. I relate this to football because in your infinite wisdom, I'm asking, is there any connection between the football woes and the basketball woes in this conference?
From a logistical standpoint, no. There is horrible recruiting. Pac-12 basketball is horrific right now. I mean, Washington is viable. You're going to get two teams into the tournament, and that's probably one more team than the conference deserves. We'll see how the conference tournament plays out this weekend and how that goes. But it's terrible. The recruiting is terrible across the board. It's not just one or two teams that are suffering. UCLA did a great job recruiting, but had a coach that was never a viable option from the moment he was hired. You've got challenges at USC as well. There's talent, but lack of coaching, and then there are other schools that have decent coaching with no talent. Now, having said that there's no connection, I'm going to draw a connection. There is one connective tissue that binds the challenges of football and the challenges of basketball, and it is one Larry Scott. The conference itself is mired in just it goes from one nightmare to another. Look, Larry Scott's in Las Vegas right now for the Pac-12 conference, and it got out that he's hanging out in a $7,500 a night hotel suite, guaranteed 24/7 butler service for a conference that can't even sell its own TV network to advertisers, that doesn't even have product clearance or audience clearance throughout its own region because it doesn't have DirecTV or AT&T Uverse carrying it. If you're a DirecTV household, you got to find some back channel way to pick up stuff on the Pac-12 network. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. So is there a logistical connection between the two? No. Is there a thread that should be binding them but sort of gets thin and unravels? Yeah, it's Mr. Scott.
I'll ask the same question then, and it's a hypothetical or it's not a hypothetical, it's a rhetorical question. It's the same question I ask myself most election years, presidential election years, thinking there are 330 million Americans. There are a lot of brilliant people out there, and I think, is this the best we can do? This is the most powerful position in the country. This is the best we can do. Can't we find some other people to run? Therefore, can't the Pac-12, I don't know what the job pays, but I got to think that there are some movers and shakers, for a cliched term, that could do a much better job.
Let me give you an idea of that. The job of Pac-12 commissioner pays more than what the SEC commissioner and his top three assistants combined are getting paid.
Really?
Hey, yes. That is, I don't have the specific dollar figure, but yes, it was researched a couple of weeks ago. There's a newspaper up in Oregon that if you do the Google search, you'll find it. They did a 4-piece investigation into Larry Scott probably about 2 to 3 months ago. Outstanding work, fabulous work about the finances, about how he had to move from Walnut, California, which is a nice little suburb in Northern California, just outside the Bay Area, to move into San Francisco because it's where all the movers and shakers in the tech industry are. And he's got no tech support from any major company, no major tech backing, and he's paying 4 times the lease that he is, because it's San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities in the Western Hemisphere. It's insane. And they're running the Pac-12 network out of there as well. So you've got all the studio space there, which, you know, you and I know as media people, that is expensive to run, you know, and the space you need to run viable studios. And you're doing it in the middle of high-priced San Francisco like that. The money that is being spent for a network that is going nowhere is insane. He had a life raft thrown out to him a few years ago by ESPN. They wanted a partnership, and the Pac-12 would maintain controlling financial interest. It was about a 55-45 split, but a partnership with ESPN, and he turned it down because he felt the Pac-12 network was better staying independent. How's that working for you, Larry? Seriously, how's that working for you? His pitch last summer at the Pac-12 Media Days was on how the Pac-12 network is geared for the future with all the cable cutters, and they're going to be the leader in 2023. Man, that network isn't going to survive until 2023 at the pace it's going. There's no way. So, are there better people to take the job? Yeah. What are you doing tomorrow? Polish up your resume. Send it in.
All right. We'll work on that.
I nominate you.
To the rescue. I think it's one step away from commissioner of college football. That would be my stepping stone. I've always wanted to be the commissioner of college football. We'll show our wares on the Pac-12. I guess I got to prove it somewhere.
You got my vote. The Pac-12 is as good a proving ground as any.
Tony Siracusa on the line talking UCLA football, USC, and the Pac-12 tonight. We got Tony stretching from coast to coast, meaning from the, well, that made no sense, from border to border, let's say, from Canada to Mexico. Let's go with that distance range. All right, Tony. I think I've talked enough tonight. It's starting to all run together, but I appreciate you stopping by to talk UCLA football.
Glad to do it. Hey, one of these days we're going to take on your ranking of Pac-12 coaches. I got.
Oh yes. Well, we've got plenty of time to do that. So we will. You keep your debate points handy.
I will.
And we'll go with that.
All right, pal.
All right, Tony. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good talking to you, Mark.